Welcome students. In the last class we have studied a type of nuclear detector, that is GM counter. So on what principle all the nuclear detectors work is, when a nuclear radiation that is going to pass through some tube, a container which is having some material medium, through some mechanism, so we are generating a current pulse, and by studying the current pulse in the electronic circuit, so we are able to find what is the type of the radiation and what is the energy or intensity associated with the nuclear radiation. So this is the basic principle on which all the detectors works. So now the next detector for your syllabus is scintillation counter or detector. So first we will start with what is the meaning of the word scintillation. So scintillation means it is flash of light. So what is scintillation means? Scintillation is the property of a material medium. It is the property of the medium that is present inside the counter, that when a charged particle or when a nuclear radiation enters that tube, it is going to absorb the energy. Means the nuclear radiation that is having some energy, that energy is absorbed by the medium that is present inside the tube, and it leads to the emission of the light. It absorbs the energy and it leads to the emission of light. So this is how the flash of light is produced. That's why the name scintillation. So on what principle this scintillation detector works is, so it is the medium that is present inside the tube is going to absorb the energy of the charged particle that is entering, and it leads to the emission of the light. So this is how it works. Actually what happens is, so charged particle is going to hit the medium that is present inside the detector. Inside this detector the medium will be there. So whenever charged particle that is going to hit the medium, then what happens is this medium is going to absorb this energy, and here the valence electrons which are present inside the medium, they go to conduction band from the valence band. This is the valence band and they go to the conduction band. So when the energy that the medium is going to absorb, the valence electrons absorb the energy, they go from valence band to the conduction band by absorbing the energy of the nuclear radiation, and after some certain time interval they come from conduction band to the valence band with the emission of photons or with the emission of light. So here this is how the flash of light or photons are produced inside the scintillation counter. So this is the principle. Now the best examples that what we are using as the material medium inside the scintillation detector is cesium iodide. This is the medium. So with the help of this we are going to generate the flash of light, and this cesium iodide, this we are going to use when we are going to detect alpha or photons. Photons means gamma radiations. So when we want to detect alpha and photons, the cesium iodide medium that we are going to use as the scintillating material, and sodium iodide, so this we are going to use for again gamma radiations, and this zinc sulfide, this is also we are going to use for alpha. So all these scintillating materials we are using in the scintillation counter. So now what is the construction of this scintillation counter, that we will study. So basically this scintillation counter, this is having three parts. First part is there. First this is the first part. This we call as scintillator. So this is mainly having three parts. First is scintillator. Scintillator means this is having some kind of media. So as depending on the incident radiations, so this medium that we are going to change. So first this is the scintillator. Second part, this is middle one. This with the help of pink color shading I have shown, that is called as second one, photocathode. So second one is photocathode, and the last one, this is the tube, bigger tube, this we call as photomultiplier tube. Photomultiplier tube. So scintillation detector is having mainly three parts. One is a scintillator, second one middle one, that is photocathode, third one is the photomultiplier tube. So now we'll study all these three parts one by one. So in the scintillator we are having scintillating material, that is either it may be cesium iodide, sodium iodide or zinc sulfide. So depending on the type of the nuclear radiation, so we are changing this medium that is present in the scintillator. So when the nuclear radiation that enters this scintillator, so which is having some sort of medium, so when nuclear radiation that enters this scintillator, the medium present in the scintillator is going to absorb this energy. So this is how it absorbs the energy, and the electrons which are present in the valence band of the medium, they go to the conduction band, means they go to the higher energy state, and again they come back to the original energy level by the emission of photon. Here the number of photons are emitted here. So as a result, I have shown here number of photons are emitted when the electrons come from higher energy state to the lower energy state. So this number of photons emitted, this depends on the energy of the nuclear radiation. If the energy of the nuclear radiation is more, then the more number of photons are emitted in the scintillator. So now these photons, they fall on the photocathode, on this middle portion. So on what principle this photocathode works is, this works on principle of photoelectric effect. So this is having some metallic surface, this is a metallic surface. So when these photons, they fall on this photocathode, so what happens is there will be the emission of the electrons from the metal surface. So that is what we call as photoelectric effect. When light falls on this some metal surfaces, so if the energy of the photon is sufficient, well sufficient to eject the electron from the valence shell, then the electrons are knocked out from the metal surface. So as a result, so here we are having electrons emitted from the photocathode. So photocathode emits the electron from the photons, means with the help of photons, this is going to emit the electrons from the metal surface. This is the second important part. Third one is photomultiplier tube. So actually what this photomultiplier tube consists of is, it is having number of electrodes. So this photomultiplier tube, this is having number of electrodes, these all are electrodes, and their surface is made curved. So their surface is made curved. All these electrodes are at different potentials. So as the increasing potentials they have arranged, first electrode, let us suppose it is at 100 volt, then the second electrode is there, this is the second electrode, that is at higher potential than the first one, means this is at 200 volt. Next third one is at still more potential than the second one, 300, 400, 500, 600, like that. So all the electrodes are arranged in the increasing order of their potentials. So now their surface is made curve. Why? Because in order to make these electrons exactly fall on the next electrode, so that's why the surface is made curved. So now the electrons which are emitted from the photocathode, they are attracted towards the first electrode, which is called as dynode. All these electrodes are called as dynodes. Electrons emitted from the photocathode are accelerated towards the first dynode, so which is at 100 volt potential. So let us suppose here you are having 2 electrons. So electrons emitted from the photocathode, they are called as primary electrons. These are called as primary electrons. When these electrons hits on this metallic surface, on this electrode, again that leads to emission of secondary electrons. This primary electron, when it hits, so from this dynode, again this is going to knock out the electron. So here with one electron you will be having 2 electrons emitted. So these electrons are called as, now these electrons you can call as secondary electrons. Again this electron, that leads to creation of one more electron. So already one electron that is coming from photocathode, and this electron, this leads to creation of one more electron. So as a result here 2 electrons you are getting, and these 2 are accelerated towards the second dynode, which is at higher potential. That's why they are accelerated. This is at positive potential, so these electrons are accelerated towards the second dynode. So as a result, secondary number of secondary electrons are produced here. Then again here these secondary electrons further they are accelerated towards the third dynode. So already here are 2, so with this 2, this one leads to 2 more electrons, and this one leads to 2 more, and as a result same, this one leads to 2 more. So here this one leads to 2 more. So as a result, number of electrons are ejected from the second electrodes. So here electrons are multiplying continuously as they are traveling from one dynode to another dynode, because the potential is increasing, they are accelerating, and the number of electron is also multiplying. So this is how from one dynode to another dynode the number of electrons are continuously increasing. As the potential is increasing, they are accelerating towards the next dynode, and the surface is made curved exactly in order to catch these electrons on the next dynode. So this is how, as a result, at last you will be having number of electrons. So with one primary electrons at last of the dynode you will be having number of electrons, and now these all electrons are fed to some electronic circuit, so in which intensity of the entering nuclear radiation that we can find, and what is the type of the radiation that is coming, and all these things we can find. So just like in the GM counter, there will be again one resistor will be there, and next external battery will be there. When these electrons they come to the end of the circuit, they have to create the potential difference across the resistor, and that potential difference across the resistor that we are going to measure as the peak, means in the form of pulse. So as a result the circuit completes. So in the electronic circuit we are going to measure the intensity, or what is the type of the radiation, and what is the energy associated with the nuclear radiation that is entering the tube. So this completes this topic, and here you take a assignment question, student. Explain construction and working of scintillation counter. So write the assignment for this and you send it in the classroom. Thank you.